Andy.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. It's the Friday night takeaway with me, Mr. B. Talk,
Yo,
MU,
Yo, talk.
ready.
yes.
Ivorian Spice and Shaw. Today, obviously, we will be talking about Prince Paul Pogba and his 500 grand. But to start, we're talking about whether there's too much player power at Old Trafford. Let's get this ball rolling. Talk, MU, how you
Yo.
doing? G, how you doing?
Yeah, good, bro. It's a bit late there because some technical difficulties with the
With your
internet. You know what I mean? The crap. Every internet
uh,
service provider on this earth is. Oh, they can't guarantee nothing, bro. All I can guarantee is that it'll knock up at some point.
that's why they take our money, man, so we can call them back. Ivorian
Yeah.
Spice, how you doing?
I'm alright. I'm blessed, man. Just it's nice to be back to see everyone's face and etc. I hope everyone's had a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas to everyone else. But it's good to be back. But it's just unfortunate we have to talk about a team that's not doing so well. Has been going through a bit of a terrible result lately. So and there's been news going around, and it hasn't been good.
Look,
But apart from that, I'm blessed.
that's the life of being a Man United supporter right now. Shaw, how you doing, man? Long time no see.
Yeah, so hi everyone. It's good to be back. Obviously, little breakout, so missed everybody. Obviously, it's been nice coming back. Everything is good. We're in a new year, so hopefully we'll start seeing some different things after this show. Definitely.
Oh God, I'm not confident. I'm not confident. But look, let's get straight into it. This week there's been a lot of what's the word that Tuchel used, noise around our club. Um and none of it is pleasant hearing. The most recent, obviously, we're hearing player unrest, um, not liking Ranick's system, leaving at 5 o'clock in the dark. Um, Issues are going on, but maybe it's not just a direct Man United issue. So I'm going to put it to you at the moment, Ivorian. Do you think that the players have got too much power at Old Trafford, and not necessarily at Old Trafford? So this is our Old Trafford's our baby. It's our home. So we're going to be talking about Old Trafford. But do you think they've, on the whole, do you think the players have got a little bit too much power? Too much power.
You know, to answer that question, first of all, we have to understand that nowadays, compared to what it was about the last 20, 30 years, where it was all always about the manager controls the club. Nowadays, players have influence in a lot of social medias. So nowadays, players will have a lot of effect in terms of influence on fans, brands and etc. So they have a bit of power over the club because they are a brand and they know their values and their assets. They know exactly where they can take their talent as well. So the clubs as well don't really have that much power as they used to. Although they own the contract and they can control the players, players still have a way because big players and big stars, like let's say for example, if it was Ronaldo at our club right now, he's probably got more weight and more clout than the board members. So he has more power because of his credentials. Whereas Manchester United at this present moment, we're not doing well. So right now, you can kind of understand why players have their way. If we was a club that was very successful, like let's say the Real Madrid, the Bayern Munich or the Man City, where players are there to be there and win trophies, and they don't want to leave, it'll be different. If but at the moment, the way Manchester United are as a club, we're not winning, we're not successful. So the players at the moment will always have the advantage over the club because at the end of the day, they can take their services elsewhere to try and win trophies. Let's be honest with of ourselves. If it was doing well, then I could clearly tell you that Manchester United would have more power over the players because we're a successful club and you don't want to leave. You want to be here. In fact, you'll beg not to be sold. But because we're not so successful, but to answer your club overall, at this present time, with players' influence in the media, the market, the way they value themselves, they do have power over the club.
Talk MU.
Yo.
Too much power.
Yeah, man. Look, I agree there. I agree with a lot of what Agor and Spice just said. And it is a case of, you're at Manchester United, but at the moment we've forgotten how to win. You know what I mean? We've forgotten how to win. It's as simple as that. And until we do start winning as a club, I think this is only going to get worse in terms of player power, because as soon as they come through the door, they're already in a position of they've got the upper hand in terms of what they're demanding, their demands. So, and the question is how do we, how do you stop this now? How can you, turn this around so that it's not about the player power? How do you take that power away from them? You know what I mean? I think it would be a very hard task in today's world, given all the technologies, the social media and everything else. So the only way it would happen for me is if all the clubs came to some agreement. And I'll tell you what I was going to say. Do you remember the incident with Jose Mourinho on the lady doctor, where it all started to go wrong for him? I said at that moment,
Ferreira.
Yeah, I can't remember the lady's name, but when it all started coming out that there was problems around that, I remember saying, this is a moment now where Roman Abramovich needs to take the upper hand there and show who's boss, and say to them players who were causing a problem, listen, this guy is the manager. He will stay the manager. And if you don't want to play for him and you don't want to be at this club, on your bike, see you later. We'll sell you for whatever we can get for you, or we'll even pay your contract up, because they can afford to do it. Make a statement, make a stand and say, no, we ain't going to let this happen. But that, for me, set a precedent, because there was a huge shift right at that moment. If you could go all the way back to just before that moment, when did you ever see any kind of real massive big problems at big clubs like Manchester United in terms of player power? Not really. You heard rumours of it. David Beckham, gone. Jaap Stam, gone. You know what I mean? Ruud van Nistelrooy, on your bike. Players just, any murmurings of anything, they were gone, but not. And ever since that incident, it seems to me that there's been a bit of a shift. So the question is, I will throw back is can this be turned around?
We'll hold that. We'll hold that reverse question. Shah, too much power.
Look, it's obvious that we've seen the demise of Oli due to players. We've seen a handful of players that have come over a generation of 3 different managers, well, 4 including Sir Alex, so the squad has been a mixture, but the last few signings were Ollie's, and then the players that didn't play for Ollie, similar ones that we're seeing attitudes on the pitch, and even the whole football Man United collective, I think, have all realised and even been quite vocal about it. You hear Evra talking about it, Rio's talked about it. We've heard a lot of stuff with other players and a lot of things coming out, even to the point where staff have even said that why didn't they call out the players to Ollie? Why didn't he shame them, put them in the hot limelight? So obviously this issue is not just been an issue of this match, the match before. It's been something that's obviously happened since probably more elite players joined the club, like the Varans, the ones like Ronaldo. Maybe this has upset a few people, but I think also our squad was at a point of where it was transitioning out of some of these players anyway, moving on from our squad as well. So this disruption could potentially be a little bit of a blessing in disguise for us to lower our wage bills in certain areas and spend the money more wiser on players that are going to benefit the club moving forward. Because whatever happens, Ragnick's an interim, right? In my business and what I do for my job, I do recruitment and I do work with IT people. And when businesses fail, they bring in an interim to pick it back up, right? Part of when an interim joins, there is a transition of old members of staff leaving and new people coming in, going in with the direction of the new person. So what we're seeing at the moment is an interesting time within our club, but it's not what we all want. But I think we're all going to have to take this on the chin and run with it for now.
I mean, my opinion on it. Look, I've got a couple of figures. Obviously, we're in the social media age, as Ivorian Spies touched on earlier on, and just want to give you a couple of figures here. Maguire, 3.1 million Instagram followers. Rashford, 12.4 million Instagram followers. Bruno, 6.5 million Instagram followers. Paul Pogba's got 51 million Instagram followers. Man United as a club, as a whole club, has 53.7 million. Cristiano Ronaldo,
that's the one.
has 387 million Instagram followers. So right now, I'm thinking this player power thing, especially at Man United, is a joke. God knows what they're getting paid, but we all understand that the way the media works at Old Trafford, you know, they're happy when there's tweets involving Manchester United. The most amount of tweets in whenever it was, or was when Ronaldo, the retweet was when they retweeted when we re-signed Ronaldo. So that side of it is a really big issue.
Yeah. Just say so, Mr. B. The funny thing here, though, is that all them players there that you mentioned, with all the followers that they've got, I would say nearly 100% of all those followers want the same thing, which is for Manchester United to do well, play well, and win. That's the obscene part about it. These players have got all this power, but we ain't doing either of those two things I've just mentioned. We ain't playing well and we ain't winning. So when we look at it then from that angle, it's like, wait a minute, who's the one with the real power here then? Now we look at it from that angle. You know what I mean? This is one person with 12 million people who follow them because they want them to do well. But you ain't doing well at the moment. So where the power really, in effect, lies with us as fans. You know what I mean? We have a voice at the match. We have a voice on the forums, and we have even a voice on platforms like this. But you know, we need to. You know, it needs to be a louder voice. It needs to be heard. You know, more. You know, people following players is great and adoring them. That's not a problem. But at the end of the day, they need to be told when we ain't happy as fans. We're giving you our money for your merchandise because it's got your name on it. For the tickets to come and watch you, or paying for our Sky, BT Sport, whatever we're watching you on, but you ain't doing it for us. So pull your socks up, mate. You know what I mean? Quit all this nonsense, bullshit around the club. All these little infighting, bitchiness going on. What's all that about? You know what I mean? And I know there's issues. Remember I mentioned to Mr. B about Ralph Rangnick. I can't remember what club it was. It was a German club where he told all the players, you don't come to training in your fancy cars. You come in club cars. You made them arrive in club cars. You remember when he first turned up and we were talking about this? Now there was
you can't do that at Old Trafford.
Tell me why then. Tell me why you can't do that.
Okay, I've spent £300,000 of my own money to buy the car that I want to drive.
Yeah.
And now you've come in as a manager. No, I'm just saying. 1 second. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Go on. Back good cop, bad cop.
You as a manager, you as a manager have come in and said to me, I want you to drive my A7 Audi.
Yeah.
I'm telling you to go stick your Audi up your arse.
Yeah, but Mr. B, where are you driving that car to? If you're driving that car, hold on. If you're driving that car, if I'm the manager and you come to me and I say that to you, and you give me that retort, I say, no, but you're driving this to your place of work.
What was that? That retort?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Your
retort? I've never heard of that.
Right, you're driving that car to work. You can drive whatever you like to shopping, to your fancy lady or anybody anywhere else you want to go. You drive whatever you like. But when you come to this place of work where we are paying your wages for that car, you don't bring that car to this place of work. But that's what we require. That's how it should be.
Are they? You're saying is that they are providing them a company car?
About in a roundabout way, yeah.
Yeah,
So
because that's the only way that can work. Because you can't just
no
say,
showing us. You know what I
you
mean?
can't come in your own car. You have to provide me with a car. Then that makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I mean. There's no showing us. There's no, like, oh, look at me, I'm driving this and I'm driving that and blah blah blah. No, you know what I mean. That's a. I was hoping that's the route he was going to take, but clearly, he's obviously, he hasn't taken that. He hasn't taken that.
You mean like grounding the players, like?
Yeah, bring them back down to earth. Look, listen, it's all right. You've got all this fanciness, but are you earning it right now? No, you ain't. You're not earning it. No. Why you? I know contracts is a contract at the end of the day, but you ain't earning it. And if you know what, all this. Listen, we can only ever take rumors with salt, with trusted sources, and all the blah blahs. But at the end of the day, we don't know how true all these rumors are about all this stuff coming out of Carrington, that the moaning because they're going home in the dark and all the rest of it. We don't know how true this is. Things can be easily taken out of context when it comes to the media,
especially involving our club talk. You're 100% right, mate. Like we've heard it so many times, man.
Yeah, because all they can talk about is United. Any excuse to talk about Man United, it's always been that way. I remember, like me being a kid, everything anyone ever talk about football, it's always Man United. At one time, not so long ago, it was always a case of, right, when we know why we're always talking about Man United. But then when things started to slacken off a little bit in terms of trophies and silverware, I remember asking my dad. I used to ask my dad and be like, what was it like back in the day? Like when, you were a bit younger and you was watching, teams in the 50s and the 60s. And he said it was the same then. All you want to talk about is United. Always talk about United, always. So, but I mean, like I say, at the end of the day, when you talk about a can of worms, it is quite worrying, to be fair, where we are right now with all these rumours. You know what I mean? Very worrying.
Talk. Could you just could you just go through we've got a whole stack of messages up here. Could you just go through a couple, if possible, please?
Let's have a look then. Let's go from the top here. Let's have a gander.
Thank you.
Just see everybody who's in here. Yeah, the Blue Podcast, Solo, Mark Edmund, OMONDI, Box, Andrew Williams. Who else we got? Pat Lawless. Let's have a look. Andrew Williams says, being out of the team when the team is crap is the smartest move a footballer can make. Well played, Pogba. I don't know. I think he might have been having a conversation with somebody previously around Pogba, but
so we could drift on to that one. We could drift on to that at some point. I'm sure his name's going to crop up within the next half an hour or so.
But it's an interesting point though, because also the time frames of Pogba coming back was always January. So regardless of whatever happens, if he comes back in January, he comes back. So
do you know what? Yeah, hold on. This is a good one. Yeah, these same players moaned that Jose was a bully. Then they moaned at Ollie for being too soft. Now they're moaning at Ralph. Now then, I know for a fact, right? I know 100% fact, because I heard it from a Man United player. He's not there now. He's moved on to Preston, right? But I heard him. I met him in Leeds because for some reason he was in Leeds. So I met him in Leeds. And it wasn't, I think Jose had been in charge for, I think it was 8 months or so, something like that. And I couldn't wait to ask him the question, what's he like? What's Jose like? I know what he said. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes him. And I asked him why don't nobody like him? And the reason was because of the way he handles people, the way he talks to people, and the fact that when he came in, he changed up all the interactions between the youth squad, the reserve squad, and the first team. There was none of that. He made it quite clear. Youth do not interact with the first team. First team do not interact with the reserves. That should be, they all their own things, and they all should be kept separate. and that caused a lot of problems at the club. That caused a lot of problems. You know what I mean?
Mm.
On the other hand,
the canteen and that, didn't he? The diet,
yeah,
everything.
He did loads. Yeah, he changed loads of stuff, and he also got a lot of He got players in when it came to him for his personal contract. The question, he said he got everybody in a big room, and he just shouted names out and said, "Blah blah, you're in the plans. You're in my plans. Blah blah's in my plans. Blah blah, you're not. Go and speak to your agent. Blah blah, you're not. You go and speak to your agent." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, yeah. I said, "I'm not lying. Why would I lie?" I'm like, "Wow, that is crazy, absolutely crazy." And you can't even imagine these things going on at such a big club. But the thing that I've always said is with that is, and I will still always say it, it's about ambition. It's about what do you want as a player. What is it that drives you on first? And I asked this player the same question. What drives you on when you're in that? When you get the opportunity, you go to Man United, then you start hearing the rumours that you might get a sniff at being on the bench. What's it like? It's amazing. You can't wait. What's it like when you get that first opportunity to play? You go out and you play your heart out. Okay, so what's it like then once the contracts start being offered and the money starts coming in? And that's where the problem lies.
It's inner drive. It's inner determination, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's too much too soon. It's too much too soon. And when he was going, I was like, right, yeah, blah blah blah. What did he step foot into? It's Overfinch Range Rover. You know what I mean? Like plush to the max. You know what I mean? And he was he'd only played one senior game. Right? But he scored on his debut. He scored on his debut in the Premier League. And I was like, what? Oh, what? I'm just looking at this vehicle, like, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like, you know what I mean? And it all fell into place. It all fell into place because, again, when you've given too much too soon, then all right, I'll give you all the money you need, but then on top of that, I pile on all the expectation and the pressure and the work rate that is going to be needed for you to go out there and be the best you can be, right? So at the end of the day, for me, there needs to be a bit of a shift as well in how we treat our youth players that are coming through right now. They need to be rather than hungry for money and other things. They need to be hungry for desire, for victory, for trophies, to be the best and to be winners. That's where it needs to be at first.
You know something though, like now these youth players from the age of 16 that are earning some big money now. It's not like 20 years ago where they were just getting £500 a week, man. They're earning. Do you know what I mean? They're earning £1,000 a week at some of them at 16 years old.
Listen,
of age. Sorry.
Yeah, the guy I'm talking about was earning 10 grand.
There you go. So
okay, so there's a lot of people in here who are actually trying to work out who it is. I know you're not going to say who it was.
No, I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not going to say.
But there's a few names. There's a few names popping up in here. While I'm trying to flick through these names, Ivorian, what was your take on that last little comment there, big man?
Regarding what? Which comment?
Sorry, we were talking about just that obviously he was talking about his super Range Rover and saying, do you think that it's an internal? Right now, I look at I'm from a prehistoric generation, granted, but I look at a lot of things as now and not being earned. I just feel that is how the younger generation want to portray things. They've got this, they've got that. That's what Instagram is there for a lot of the time, to show off what you have and what you don't have. Do you feel that once they're reaching, I mean, this was again, we're just talking about Man United, they reach that level, they're not interested in success because they've got all the materialistic things already?
Absolutely, that plays a large part. You look at players like, I'll give you an example, players like that's never reached their potential, Theo Walker, Michael Richards, being praised by the media so early into their career, and then them already, because they're being praised, they're thinking that they've made it and do not try enough to get to that level. There's been so many players. Even right now, one of our players, I feel like could potentially end up in the kind of way, which is, of course, I don't know if you guys want to hear it, but in my opinion, Marcus Rashford is one of those players. Jesse Lingard's one of those players where he's gotten his players at a young age.
Get off the stream. You're not allowed to. I'm joking. Look at his face.
No, you can't come in here. You can't come in here and start saying stuff about Marcus Rashford, bro.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because he hasn't been focusing on his football. And because he's been given that praise. Yes, he is focused off the pitch. He's mentally stable in certain situations. Yes, I can understand. He's mature. He's a mature player. He doesn't do the wrong thing. However, the limelight has got to him. He's one of those players that's earning the money that he shouldn't really be earning. And he's also, at the same time, he does stunt online. And that takes an effect. Like, for example, Jesse Lingard as well, who has fallen down dramatically from where he was supposed to be at Manchester United to now. All because he has never stayed focused, because of he believed in the hype from the media and his focus was on showing off and etc. You know, again, like I said before, the Marcus Rashford thing, one day, if he doesn't take this serious and put the media thing aside and focus on his bread and butter, he will lose it. He will lose it. That's the thing about a lot of these young players. You are right. They just want to make the money at a young age. Say, yeah, I've made it. I play for Manchester United. I don't need to work hard anymore. That's why there's a lot of these young players don't reach their potential, because they feel like they've made it at a young age and they don't need to work hard. They don't want to do what Cristiano Ronaldo done, things that Messi done, sacrifices, knowing that they've just made it, but they're not there yet. They know they have to work hard and they still focus on their game. They don't go out partying all the time. Life is not about partying. If you want to reach the top of your echelon, top of your level, you always need to stay focused on what you do. Forget the partying. Forget the money. The focus, the main goal is reaching to the top. And that's what great players do. They have a tunnel vision.
Also, what did for Alex Ferguson, I can't remember which player it was, but there was a player who was moaning about wanting a bigger contract. And he said, don't worry. If you're good enough, the money will come to you. Simple as that. If you're good enough for this club and you prove yourself, the money will come to you. You go chasing the money. You get what you want too early. What left have I got to get out of it before? You know, there's no point in saying, I want you to run a marathon and there's the finish line. You know what I mean? What's the point of that? You can't do that. You know what I mean?
No, you can't. You know what? The other thing as well, I think because they've had, like, Rashford is a really good example of what has happened with him. Like, he's been at first team appearances for 5 years now, right? And he's 24. He came on the scene at 19, and those first team appearances, you know, he's playing 20 plus games a season for us. Yeah, whether he's injured, whether he had knocks or whatever, on average, let's just say he's played 20 games a season or whatever it is. Even might be more. But a player like him has had three different father figures to a certain extent: the bosses, the managers, the people that are meant to be his leaders. He's gone from probably positive, negative, positive, in his emotions and feelings and that. Now he's at another place now because he's got Ralph. There's different things. These emotions and things like that are going to have effect on players and individuals and their attitudes, especially more so now when things are down. So the whole camp is going to be feeling a little bit negative, a bit like how we're feeling, as fans. But the only thing that's going to change is, like you said, talking from the beginning is about winning again, getting that winning mentality back.
But that for me, that's like where, but they have to break that kind of comfortable barrier. They've got a nice, soft, comfortable barrier around them at the moment. That needs to be smashed down, and that's exactly what Ralph is trying to do.
Yeah.
But what they've got to do is, go on.
Just to get that winning mentality, it's not just about that. You have to have the character. You have to be a winner. So a lot of these players are not winners, and you have to be a leader, and you have to be someone that will take things on the scruff and carry and motivate others. That's what winners do, and we don't have that. You see that when we concede a goal, a lot of players go into their shell. How many players grab a player by the throat and say, "Come on, we can do this." How you don't see that with our team? You see in other teams where they encourage each other, especially when they're 1-0 down, and tell everyone to focus. We don't see that enough, and that's the thing with this player that we have. So until we do proper recruitment and look at players, look at their character in certain in matches, and especially in big matches, do they have the motivation? Do they lead their players? Do they have the character? Do they have that winning mentality? Then we'll be fine. But until now, we don't. Right now, we don't have those players. Only a few I can say have that mentality.
And I would agree with you there, right? I'm just gonna butt in just for 1 second, yeah. I want to flip something to you on that point, yeah, because I was actually having this discussion with a friend earlier, and if these players, if you take away what's going on with them mentally, emotionally, whatever it is, and you talk about them as footballers and their skills, like when you're turning on your FIFA just looks at their skills. They're not. If we take away the emotion and what their form is like, you know, they're programmed to do those skills, if that makes sense. Their brain, everything, they've got the ability to play, right? Now, if we know that we've got winning players and players that have won us games, have beaten the best clubs in Europe, yeah, we've beaten Barcelona, we've beaten PSG, we've beaten teams that are in the same position as us as world elite football club, right? So if we take away the mentality in that this is the part that needs to be coached and trained. Now, Rashford's 24, for example, but Salah didn't come to his form till he was 27, 26.
But he did. How did he get there? He done it by focusing. Yeah, he never made it at Chelsea.
He done it by transition. He went away. He went away from Chelsea. He didn't stay at Chelsea and do it at Chelsea, right? So he had to go and learn his journey, learn his lessons from different people and different characters around him.
But with tunnel vision. With tunnel vision, with focus that I want to get there and work hard. And he did.
And now, and right now, we've got the biggest exponent of that at the club in Cristiano Ronaldo.
Exactly so. And he's also a winner. He's had, listen, everyone goes through things in life. Yeah. It's about how you come out of it, how strong you are.
Yeah.
And if you want to get somewhere like Ronaldo did, he didn't let, like, for example, he lost his father. It did affect him, but it made him stronger. It didn't let it always affect his form. It made him stronger. He showed that he can overcome it, because you have to be a champion, you have to overcome these obstacles, especially the emotional side of things, because that's what really affects your performances and what would affect you from getting to the top. Circumstances that will come towards you that affects you, your family, and your emotions.
Also, I think there's a bit of a psychological block as well, also here as well in play, because we are Manchester United and because we are such a massive club with such a huge, glorious, not so distant past, but with huge expectation and pressure. You know, there the juxtaposition, I will say, between that and what they're getting paid, their lifestyles, it's a bit of a mismatch. You know what I mean? It's like if I was living in a 10-bedroom mansion, you know what I mean? You come around, you go, "Wow, bro, man, what are you doing for a job?" And I say to you, "Oh, I just just work at the corner shop." You're gonna go, "Yeah, wait a minute. What kind of work are you doing at that corner shop?" You know what I mean? And then if you go and look into it deeper and deeper, and you go, "Which corner shop are you on about?" And I go, "Oh, it's actually I work at Harrods." You know what I mean? There's for me, they've got to somebody, whether Ralph can do it. I was wondering if this is why he's brought in this guy. What was his name? Can you remind me what the guy's name is?
You mean the psychologist, sports psychologist?
Yeah, the sports psychologist. I can't remember the guy's name, but this guy, hopefully, this guy is going to be the one who can actually, separate, because as it stands at the moment, it just looks to me it's a huge mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sasha Lens, that's it. It's a huge mess, and it needs to be tackled. You don't just like mow everything in the garden, do you? You don't go over all the flower beds and the veg patch with your mower. You know what I mean? You have to do each bit. You have to do each bit individually and take care of it. And this is what this guy's got to do. I know I still need an analogy I could come up with, right? But this is what this guy's got to do.
Everything. Brilliant. I love it.
This guy's got to do the same thing. He's got to pick this apart delicately, section by section, and make it more clear for the players to see in individual blocks rather than a huge kind of mosaic of problems and pressure, stress, and blah blah all melding into each other. It's got to be separated so they can deal with it in its own little. And let's just hope that this guy can do that, but do it quick.
It's quite interesting as well, though, isn't it, Talk? Because John Murtaugh's the one that made the decision on Ralph Ragnick. It was his. It was his appointment. So obviously he's quite well respected, John Murtaugh, but he's quite knowledgeable in the fact of what probably needed to be done, and probably saw a bigger problem when they came in.
Anybody who's been at the club for a long stretch like that and understands the club, how it works from top to bottom, and you've seen everything that's happened before you know exactly what needs to be done. You know exactly what kind of attitude needs to be in play. You know, like I say, all the psychological aspects of what players' mindset needs to be at. Now, I mean, I remember my dad telling me about the Mr. Fix-It at Old Trafford years and years and years ago, and I was like, "You what?" First thing that come to mind was somewhere else, and I'm like, I'm not going to mention it, but and I'm like, I don't understand what you mean. And when he explained it to me, he was like, and Alex Ferguson was more or less the first manager to do it and introduce it, which was a guy who every player, if you had a problem, you don't worry about it. You go call this guy, he'll sort it, whatever it be. Whether it be because if it's an overseas player and you're missing your family, this guy will sort it. He will get your family here. You get your house. He'll set them up. He'll sort all your problems out for you, because all the whatever wanted the players to focus on and be worried about was making sure you are on time for training first and foremost. And when you're at that training, you're totally focused on just absorbing what is being taught to you and what you're doing physically, and like I say, what you're absorbing mentally, so that when you go home, you've nothing else on your mind. You can just absorb it and make sense of it. Because if you've got other problems going on, you can't do that, can you?
Right. And this is where I believe that point that you made, this is where I believe now. By the way, if you're in the comments, sorry, if you're on stream, please like, please share, please subscribe. If you're new to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know that we're going live. And with that, I have completely forgotten the point that I was going to make.
Mr. B.
I wanted to. Oh, Talk. What did you just say? I had it all in my head.
Mr. Fix-It. Mr. Fix-It.
Oh, fuck. Oh, yes. Sorry. Right. Got it. Got it.
You're back. We're back in the room.
With you talking about this Mr. Fix-It guy, players, I feel that players, Mr. Fix-It does everything for them. They can't do nothing for themselves. Car insurance. How much of these players are getting done for no car insurance? No tax. Forget about MOT. Forget about MOT because it's 3 years and they're not keeping their cars for more than 6 months.
Let me just say this as well. A lot of them don't even know how to go to a petrol station, right? Open the petrol cap and fill it up.
Right. So this is the point that I'm making. You're saying get a Mr. Fix-It. They've had Mr. Fix-It. They need to be, I feel that they need to learn life skills to appreciate the things that they've got.
Well, and life skills can only come from your parents.
Everything's given to them
around you.
Yeah, but listen, no, don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is it's about understanding. Wait a minute, I'm sat here in this big plush 10-bedroom gaff looking out of my window at my Lamborghini, Ferrari, Range Rover, Rolls Royce, and whatever else I've got. But I'm asking myself the question, do I deserve this? Do I deserve to be taking £375,000 every week from my supporters when I'm doing nothing to earn it?
Yeah, but you say that. These guys have got a contract. The decision is down to the managers. No, they've got a contract. And we're at a point where we've got too many players as a squad. They're not getting utilised, right? That's the problem.
This is the thing is what I was getting at before, is look at how the way we're giving these contracts out. Ferguson wouldn't have done. Fergie never done that. Just give contracts out willy-nilly for the fear of losing a player because he might want to go on a transfer. If you don't want to play it, pack your stuff into your little Gucci bag and do one. I'm not bothered. If you want to go and play for another team, see you in a bit. We've got a youth set up here that's providing talent beyond talent beyond talent. We will dip into that. But we've lost that because, and in my opinion, it is because of the, the board members, shall we say, I'm not going to mention names, but board members giving out contracts willy-nilly, thinking that that's the best thing to do to keep a player sort of focused on the game when it's totally the opposite. Earn it.
So talk, as you've kindly dropped us in on that subject there. Contracts, these contracts that they're offering, we've heard it's been on the table for a little while. It sounds like it's big confirmation. Paul Pogba, £500,000 a week. I'm not going to start with you though, talk. I'm going to start with.
I'm ready, man. I was letting it go.
I'm gonna start with Ivorian. Paul Pogba, £500,000 a week. Should we have just let him go? Is he in control of the club? There's a rumor in the comments, only in the comments, that he's left Raiola now. I'm going to assume that was a big wind up. Are we wrong for offering him that money? Should we be keeping him? And is he worth it? We want to keep this short, mind.
I need to go through the structure that you just asked me. First of all, that one is in terms of Pogba. To answer the first question, Manchester United, in terms of for him to stay, if he was to stay, ideally no, because you look at Pogba right now, he's in a situation where the fans don't love him. Me, Dida don't love him. He would never ever get the love that he desires or he wants from the Manchester United fan. That relationship is spoiled. So Manchester United won't get him. He's in power. He's probably got more followers on Instagram than Manchester United right now. So he's in power in the situation. The money itself, 500k, in my opinion. I love Paul Pogba for who he is, his character, his footballing skills, not for what he's done for Manchester United, for what he's done elsewhere besides Manchester United. But as a Man United fan, 500k, he hasn't done anything in 6 years. He don't deserve that money. 300k max. But apart from that, Paul Pogba, he should just leave. We can do better now. 6 years, it's been a long time here. We haven't seen anything. We can probably move on. Like, I want him to stay, but I can understand. Yeah. I've mentally checked out.
Yeah, talk now. Talk. I want to talk. Right, I got you now. I'll jump in and surprise you. Go on.
Do you know what? The thing here is, the way I look at this is because look, nothing's going to change as it stands. The only thing that can change here is because obviously other clubs now can offer big monies because of the Sky money and everything else. But your bigger clubs like Manchester United, and we are now in a position where the only real option for me, the way I see this, is to generate that kind of ambition and that kind of carrot and a stick, is to say to Paul Pogba right now in this contract talks, right, okay, listen, Paul, it's going to work like this. I'll offer you the same contract you've got right now, but it will be increased as with your performances and with the performances from the teams and the victories. If we get top four and we win a trophy, that wage will increase to 450, or whatever it is he wants, but only if we win. Or even better, you go higher than that, because this is what's going to happen here. We have to look at this from the real situation that it is. We are going to have to start offering more money to get people to be motivated to earn that money. So imagine if you say to Paul Pogba now, we'll give you the free sign the contracts. We're going to offer you 750 grand a week. You know he's signing that contract, don't you? You know he is. He's not going to get that anywhere else. But in order for him to earn that kind of money, there would have to be some kind of clause in there. To earn that money, you have to do X, Y, and Z. If you do it, that's what you'll get. Then there's motivation there to be better than that, because whoa, I'm going to get serious bucks here if I actually perform and actually put the passion in and put the heart in and the energy in. It's there. You know what I mean? So maybe we're in a situation like that now where we're going to have to start offering more. Look at the situation of Barcelona with Griezmann, with the 750,000 euros a week. That contract, I bet if we could see that contract on paper, what the stipulations were of that, there must have been something in there which was around about for what I've just been talking about. There must have been. It wouldn't just be a simple straight, we'll give you 750k a week and that's it. You do whatever you want. Nah, I'm not buying that for a minute.
Mate, you should have bought it because they offered Messi a lot. They were giving Messi a lot, standard rate plus the extras. You
Oh, yeah, but
know
that's
he was
Messi.
getting almost $1 million per
Messi,
week.
I mean, Messi's Messi though.
Plus extras. So they probably do the same thing with these players like Griezmann.
Sure.
We're in a different time now, aren't we? 500 grand a week for footballers is for the best premium footballers is a thing. It's not like not a thing anymore.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
We're in 2022. The world is different. Money is different, right? And I'm not trying to say it in a bad way about Pogba, because for me, if we can get the best Pogba, a bit like what OMONDI was saying in the chat, you know, if we can get that best Pogba, we all love Pogba. We all want Pogba to do well. He's one of our own. He's come up with the academy. Same with Jesse. We all want them to do well.
I'm glad you say that, because other people don't see it as that. Like, he's come for the academy. They don't treat him like that.
No, exactly. But I think a lot of the fan base, when I go and I speak to fans, and when I go to the games, and if I speak to other people respect Pogba. Like you said, Ryan, you know, there's things that we all like about Pogba: his personality, his character, what he does off the pitch, on the pitch, right? You know, he's got an overall good aura to him. So, like, we respect him for that. But obviously, we all want to see that Pogba on the pitch. But I think that person who wants to see that Pogba on the pitch is himself. Right, these injuries, these knockbacks, we all seen these problems. Valencia wasn't the same player. Theo Walcott, you mentioned earlier on, wasn't the same player after he got injured. Micah Richards wasn't the same player after he got injured, right? But we keep seeing Pogba, and then we see glimpses, and he's gone again. This is a similar situation to what we have with some of our other players. Varane's another one that we're going to see a consistent problem. Bailly, another one. We've seen great performances, and the other day he gets pulled off because he's injured. Like, so I don't know whether he was injured or whether he's just taking time off and letting Varane get minutes. But, you know, my point is, though, 500 grand is not a thing. And what we're going to get from Pogba is we're going to see him give us the following, Adidas, the sponsorship. You know, you've got sponsorship commitments. There's things that are associated with Pogba that have to come along with business. And unfortunately, that is the way we are. We are a business as well as a football club.
Which is a shame how we're being run. My opinion, but lads, look at the time. You guys in the comments, there's so much. Jackie, bath time as usual. Box, Solo, OMONDI, Mark Edmonds, Steve Fletcher, Adam Talks F1, Sarragon. Sorry, it's a cold. It's not COVID.
It's all right. You don't need to explain yourself.
Yeah. Mark Bassett, Jackie. I'm sure I've said Jackie a couple of times already.
So Monday, the team.
She's my second. Yeah, you're all on here. Appreciated. Again, you don't have to be here, but you were. Time has flown. Ivorian Spice, say your goodbyes, big man, and thank you again for coming on this Friday night.
No worries, man. Big ups to you guys who have tuned in as always, man. You'll see me again. Of course, subscribe, smash that like button. If you ever want to see me, of course, you can always subscribe to Red United TV. I've upgraded now.
I know.
It's bigger than before.
I knew there was something different. I couldn't work it out. I was like, wait a minute, there's something different here, and I can't work it out. But now you mention it.
Yes, you look smart, man. Nice.
Thank you, guys. Well, yes, big up to the channel. Congratulations, hitting that 1K subscribers. Yeah, you guys done amazing work, you know, and I'm actually quite proud as well, man. Big up to everyone else, Solo, OMONDI as well, that's not here with us. But again, you guys will see me again probably next week as well. Another Friday night takeaway. It is quite late, but you know, us 30-year-olds, we know we get tired easily, right? These days, you know. Do you know that, Mr. V?
Us 30. Oh, you know what? You've done it. You're on next week. 30? Oh my! 30. Oh my! No, 30. You've said it already. You've not changed it. You've said it. We can click that. 30.
I must be I'm too young to be on air, then, man. I don't know how you guys are. I should be in bed right now. You know what I'm saying?
Talk's had one too many coffees just to stay awake. He's got cocktail sticks holding his eyes open by now.
Yeah, man.
Oh God. You guys in the comments again, so much appreciated. You guys make the Friday night.
Yeah.
There was so much messages. I said I didn't get through all of them as usual. But you know what I'm like, and you know it's a Friday. Talk, say your goodbyes, please.
Yeah, big up everyone. Thanks again. I'll repeat what Mr. B said. We can't do it without you lot, and you know what? You're all legends, so big up to you.
Sure.
Hey everyone, it's great to be back. I hope everyone has a good 2022, and I'm looking forward to everyone having a good weekend. And Monday night, just stay positive. We're gonna see something.
Yeah. Also,
special.
Actually, you just reminded me the watch along. Don't forget about the watch along, Mr. B. Plug it, baby. Come on.
So we got the watch along. Actually, we got the preview show Sunday for the Aston Villa FA Cup game. We've got the watch along on Monday, 7:25, as it's a 7:55 kickoff. We've got the reaction show straight after that. I assume that's going to be hosted by OMONDI and Big Boss Man Solo. Tuesday, we should have. Anyway, we've got shows throughout the week. We've got the breaking shows in the morning with Rebel, OMONDI, a mixture of Rebel, OMONDI, and Solo. So keep your ears peeled for anything that's breaking, because you know they're sharp. So it's us, it's me, it's all of you saying goodbye for the Man United agenda. Peace out, and we see you all next week.
Ciao.